Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Financial Investor channel. My name is Brent, and today we're going to be releasing our video for Monday, talking about Monday's market. So Friday, we had the stock market rally Friday. Indexes across the board were up 1.5. Monday, we had the second consecutive rally. S&P 500 and the Nasdaq both up about 1.2%. Actually have the markets here. So if we take a look at the S&P 500 for Monday, we are up 1.2%. For the Nasdaq, we are up roughly 1.2%. And in the Dow Jones, we are up 1.95%. So very good day today. One thing I did want to mention, a lot of the financial, a lot of the tech companies, they were on fire today. Some of the stocks that had jumped up 3 to 10% last week have had an additional climb today. Now some of those stocks, let's go ahead and jump to what was this? The futures. Okay. So talking a little bit about Dow Jones. So we talked last week, Cisco, Intel up more than 3%. Going into today's week, Monday, Cisco and Intel both continue to climb. Cisco in the lead at 3.09, Triple M at 3.03, Intel at 2.89. So three solid companies that we talked about this Saturday on our weekly recap. Cisco was one of the stocks I was heavily invested in Intel as well. And so far for the month of February, the tech-heavy Nasdaq has actually recovered all that it lost during the correction. So here, this is something I was taking a look at earlier. If you take a look at the 1 month, you'll see that prior to the correction that took place, so this is January, we had the uncertainty, a lot of volume going in and out, lots of trading taking place. Then we had the 10% correction going into February. All of that has been recovered. So the Nasdaq is now up by more than 0.1%, whereas the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones are still a little bit behind by around 1.5%. So all those losses that we took in the last 2-3 weeks, you were down by 10%, those have been recovered. So hopefully everyone that is out there has stayed invested. If you did sell your stocks, if you bought some ones at a discount, I did sell some of my stocks. I ended up buying Apple shares. I bought a leveraged ETF, which I discussed not doing. It's very risky, but I did buy UPRO, which is a leveraged S&P 500 ETF. It's up more than 5% on Monday and Friday, so good returns there. I'm sure, let's see here. What else are we going to be talking about? So I did have the stock markets here, S&P 500, the Dow Jones. So S&P 500 year to date 3.96, Dow Jones 4.01, but this doesn't include today's change. So S&P 500 3.96, and then add an additional 1.18. That's why the Nasdaq was up more than around 8% prior to the whole correction that took place. So we'll take 7.50 and you add today's 1.15, and that gives it a 8.65% increase over the year to date. So the Nasdaq has recovered and is up, and again, I believe record highs. I'm not for certain on that one. So today, Monday, we ended with 10 out of the 11 sectors in the positive. Some of the ones that weren't doing as good were the real estate investment trust, REITs, and utilities. And this is all due to, rise in interest rates. They underperformed, but they were positive still. The real estate investment area, they still increased by roughly 0.4, and some of the other sectors increased here. So as I jump to Merrill Edge and kind of move, oh, this is the Dow Jones. We talked about that. So let me go back to my research tab here. Some of the other stocks down here, we can see here real estate only up 0.4, materials up 0.4, whereas technology, telecommunications, financials, industrials, healthcare all up more than 1.3%. So those ones were carrying the markets on Monday. Utilities down 0.33%. Right now, I am really considering removing my utility company from my portfolio and jumping on board in something that has a more promising future. I do not like selling anything at a loss, but there are so many better companies out there that have more potential to grow, and utilities right now are getting hammered with rising interest rates. They're looking to increase rising interest rates more than they had scheduled initially for 2018. So I think real estate investment trusts, I think utilities, I think they're going to get hammered in 2018. So I do not see the treasury yields are continuing to climb. They're looking at a 10-year note at around a nearly 3% coming up. So I believe there was an article here I actually read. So one thing I'm looking forward to is tomorrow on Tuesday, the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is going to be testifying before Congress. So he just got sworn in recently in February. So he's going to be giving off his speech and how basically kind of talking about the stock markets. So this is going to play a huge effect on Tuesday and the following week. Right now, it's looking like we're going to be continuing to rally into this week, but nothing's for sure. So investors are worried of the prospects of accelerating economic growth, and inflation could prompt the Fed to lift interest rates this year more than anticipated, which we already know they're expected to continue to raise them. There was an article I had read. I was reading about the Asian markets, European markets. They are on fire, up more than 3%. Oh, America's up 3%, but European and the Asian markets here, if we go back over the Merrill Edge up towards the top, we can take a look at some of the foreign markets here, and we'll go ahead and just really quickly cover that. So Asian markets here, you can see across the board, Japan up 1%, 1.39, Singapore, Australia, so very nice. Over in Europe, again, very positive across all of Europe. So great so far. Let's see here. So that was basically all that I wanted to cover. Some of the news that came out today was mainly talking about Berkshire Hathaway. He had, what was it? What was the number? He had $116 billion to invest, and they kind of said that this is the whole reason for today. There wasn't a lot of volume trading as far as what took place back in a couple weeks ago. Today, not a whole lot of volume. I believe that people are kind of holding off and kind of waiting for what the chairman is going to be saying on Tuesday, because a lot of what he discusses about Feds raising interest rates, talking about infrastructure and such, this could be a huge play for the week and kind of going into the following few weeks and months and such. So Warren Buffett did release his annual letter, which we just discussed, talking about he has a cash balance of around 116 billion, and he is still looking for where he can stick his money in order to work for him. So he's looking to buy large companies, and a lot of people were speculating in today's markets today and trying to predict where he would spend that money. So a lot of airline companies jumped, a lot of financial companies jumped. I think that I would take a look at infrastructure, but at the same time, I just took a look at Trump's infrastructure plan on how he wants to dedicate $200 billion towards infrastructure, and then the total cost would be $1.5 trillion. So he's going to dedicate $200 billion from the Federal Reserve, and then somehow the states and private companies and cities are going to try and make up the rest of that money in order to spur economic spending and just increasing infrastructure. So I thought maybe infrastructure would be a great area that Warren Buffett may invest in. I actually made some notes here about some companies that I was considering looking at as far as infrastructure goes. Some of them are, let's see, what are a couple of these here that I have in my notes? One is Vulcan Materials, ticker symbol VMC. They do a lot of crushed stone, sand, gravel. They're one of the largest concrete producers in the U.S. Another one was MLM, which is, let's see here, they own 285 quarries from 28 different states. So very large companies. Talking about, I also looked, a couple of lime and minerals, concrete, just generally a lot of infrastructure companies, because with Trump trying to get his infrastructure plan, but everyone is really bashing his plan. So he unveiled his plan. All the news has been bashing it because they don't, they're talking about where is all this money going to be coming from. they're going to have to try and increase gas. They're going to try and have to increase taxes. They're how big is it and such. So the taking shape. So I've been reading a few different articles and how Washington is looking to even back in a 25% increase in federal gasoline tax to make it happen. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Oil's continuing to rise. They're trying to rise oil prices. They're trying to increase, gas prices. Gasoline tax. So California, Washington, those are going to be hit hard. So it's a guessing game right now. I don't have any predictions as far as where Warren Buffett will invest in, but he's always one to invest not so much in technology. Besides Apple being, it's more like a service. He understands probably the technological point. Where an iPhone, you can make a call. That's one of their largest selling devices. iPads, iPhones, Mac Airs. Now they're getting the services, it's something he can understand. So I'm sure that's why he bought into Apple. But as far as infrastructure goes, I do think, he has a lot of railroads, a lot of other banking, financial companies. So he has quite a large portfolio. So some of the more popular stocks today, Apple, Google, Microsoft. I am a huge shareholder of Apple now. Apple is my primary investment. Kind of going into, after the fall where it fell from 198 to 152, I believe is where it bottomed out at. I bought in at 150, 160 range in Apple. So that is basically it. Kind of talking about the markets today. What I'm looking forward to tomorrow is, again, the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell talking about interest rates, financial markets, funding boost, inflation, where it's heading, what they're looking to increase. So one thing I'm going to be avoiding and getting rid of in my portfolio is my real estate investment trust, because I do not think that those will grow or do very well in the next year or so. And as inflation is increasing, as interest rates are increasing, debt is going to get really expensive to hold. So a lot of these companies that use debt to build and continue their infrastructure. So utilities, they run on a lot of debt. They take out debt, build, and then they work and pay that off. But I don't think it's going to be working out for them in the near future. So that is basically it for this video. Just a very quick video talking about the indexes, the Nasdaq's recovery, the Tuesday Fed chairman talking about European markets. Dow futures right now are up in the triple digits. So depending on how Tuesday goes, we may see an extended rally going to Friday, just based off what is currently taking place with Warren Buffett and where people are trying to predict where he's going to be putting those billions of dollars to work. So that is it for this video. If you have enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are brand new to my channel, remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. I put out videos weekly, 3 to 5 times out, every single week, talking about stock market, financial, real estate now. So that is basically it. As a friendly disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor or tax professional. The information provided in these videos is my opinion and for entertainment and fun. This is not investment advice. This is just me as a financial investor trying to help others make their money work for them and trying to make others not lose as much money. So breaking news. So that is fun stuff right there. I'll be reading the article here in a minute. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.